There are any number of ways to invite student attendees to your recurring Zoom class sessions. I'm going to show you two different ways today. It may actually take place in two different videos, but I like to use both. So if you want to send the students an email prior to your first class session, you can copy the Zoom invitation and paste it into an email. And I went over that with the very first Inviting Attendees video. But you don't want to have to type in all the email addresses up here in one of these lines, the to, the CC, or the BCC. That could be labor intensive. So what you could do is log into your college site, and once you log in to your college site, you can simply click on your teaching schedule, and from there select your term, and then from there scroll down and click on your enrollment. If you click on your enrollment, you'll actually see the names of the students, and you'll have an option to email the class. I'm not going to click on that from here because I don't want to violate anyone's confidentiality by showing you their name or their M number. That's improper. But what I did do was I opened a sample browser from my detailed faculty list, and you'll see that at the bottom on the left-hand side is where you get that option to email the class. So when you click that actual email icon, that will populate in your Office Outlook email. And every student's email address will be there, but they will be BCC'd. Now, I can't click on it from here and have you see that because all of their names will be there. So I'm going to click, and then when you next see my screen, you'll get an idea of what the BCC list looks like. So having clicked on that email class, I got this pop-up window, and the students' email addresses will populate the BCC line. What I did was I simply put in the addresses of some of my colleagues because I know they'll be okay with that. But what you'll have here is all of the addresses of every student who is registered in your class at that time. I generally wait until right before class, usually 3 or 4 days, to make sure that every student who is enrolled will receive the actual email. It's a good idea to sort of wait after that first Thursday before class, because Thursdays tend to be drop deadlines. So if you wait until that Friday, once the drop date of Thursday has passed, you pretty much capture all the students who will be in the class. So from here, what you want to do is make sure that you've got your Zoom account open, and I've gone directly to these occurrences of the meeting. Remember, you can click on any occurrence to get the meeting information, but I default to the very first occurrence just for simplicity's sake. And when you do, if you scroll down to where you have your invite link, you can simply copy that link and email it to the students, or you can select copy invitation. So I'm going to encourage you to simply copy the entire invitation, and when you do, it is now copied to your computer clipboard, and you can go back to that email with all of these students populated in the BCC line, and you can invite them to your meeting. So in the subject line, I'm going to put Johnson, ENGL 101, Summer Session 2, and I'll put 2020, and then I'll put, forgive me, another underscore, Zoom class link, okay? And then here I can say, greetings class. Below, please find the Zoom link for our course sessions. The same link and password will be used for every class. So I'm going to enter there, a couple enters, and then I'm going to Control V as in Victor and paste the meetings. So remember, I like to sort of prettify these meetings. So I'm going to go to the top and I'm going to highlight same, make it bold, and then I'm going to give it a nice color. I sometimes like to make it the school colors, but it's not always easy to see them. So I found that green, it kind of works if you pick the right green. So I'm going to try this one and say, okay, the same link and password will be used for every class. And what I can do is underline that, make it all bold, also underline it, and then every and class can also be bold and underlined. So the same stands out from the link and password in every class. They know I'm inviting them, so I can get rid of this. It may be extraneous to have the topic there because I've already told them in the body of the message in the subject line what's going to occur. We know that the first class will be this date. Sometimes it won't look as pretty as you want. So I can make this bold as well. And then I'm going to scroll down a minute. Okay. Make that bold. Not going to overdo it with the color too much. They don't need the download to the calendar part, so I'm going to get rid of that as well as the weekly long link. Just delete that. But they do need the join Zoom meeting and the password. So I'm just going to take this part right here and Control X as in xylophone to cut it. And I'm going to put that at the top because they'll really be able to see it. So Control V for Victor, and they're going to join the Zoom meeting. If you toggle or scroll, or toggle might be better, to the end of the link and you hit your enter button, it'll make the hyperlink blue, and the students will know that they can click on the hyperlink. I don't think they need the meeting ID, so I'm going to take that out. Some people like to keep it, but they do need the password, so we'll make that bold as well. And we can also make time bold. I think that would look pretty good, but maybe we'll make join the Zoom meeting green. They'll think of that as sort of a nice title. And then we'll make time green as well. So we've got that green, black, black, green, black, green. I think that looks pretty good. You can do whatever colors make you happy, or you can do no colors. And we'll come down here and keep the one-tap mobile. Keep the dial by your location. I usually take this part out again down here, the meeting ID and the password, because it's the same for everything that they need to do, and I just don't want them to get confused by all of this stuff. So you can take that part out as well and leave that if you need to. Scroll to the end of this URL as well if you want to make that a hyperlink. And then just go back up and take a look at it and make sure it looks okay. So please find the link for our course sessions. The same link and password we use for every class. Join Zoom meeting. I think it looks pretty good. I am happy with it. One thing that you might also want to do is copy all of this text, because I'm going to show you how to send it to them via email a different way. So we're going to Control C as in cat and copy that and take a nice look at it. I think it looks pretty good. I sometimes in the CC line will put the office administrator, and then in the to line I will put the department chair. I like them to actually have the information so that if a student contacts them and says, I don't know how to get to class, I don't know where it is, they'll have it there. It's rare that a student has said that. Normally they'll just email me and I'll resend them the Zoom password, but very few students don't know how to find what they need. Check, however, with your department chair and your office administrator before you send them that, because they may end up with a ton of emails from a ton of professors. As we're using Blackboard as our interface for structured remote teaching and learning, an easier way for you to actually send your students a copy of the invitation to the Zoom class is to post it as an announcement in Blackboard and select email. This way it's posted in your Blackboard course and it's also emailed to your students. So I'm in my Blackboard interface, and that may not be the right word. I sometimes use words that work for me. And I'm going to click on my English 102 Tuesday, Thursday class from the spring. And I'm going to actually leave my edit mode on because I need to select create an announcement. Okay. So from here, I'm going to go to my table of contents on the left-hand side. And I'm going to select announcements. At the very top, I can create an announcement. So I'm going to select that. And if you'll remember, I copied the message that I had in my email. So you don't have to do an email. You could actually write that same message here and create an announcement. But since I'd written it, I didn't want to rewrite it for this video. I just copied it. I'm going to put my cursor at the very top of the announcement. I'm going to Control V as in Victor and paste my announcement. Now you'll notice the font has changed. That happens sometimes in Blackboard. So what I'm going to do is simply select all of this text, and I'm going to come up and make sure that I've selected Times New Roman. Sometimes I play around and I'll select Arial or something else and then go back and select Times New Roman just to make sure everything's in Times New Roman. It's kind of a hitch in Blackboard sometimes, and I love Blackboard, so I don't want the Blackboard company upset with me, but I do that. And then for your font in Blackboard to look like 12 point, select 14 point. Okay? And then just scroll up and check. See, this is still not the same. So what you may have to do sometimes, if it won't change, is try that little select again and see if it'll change to Times New Roman. It may not, but what you can do, if you don't mind, is just retype it, and it's not that labor intensive. I'm not going to do it for everything here that's not the correct font, but just showing you how to do this for the sake of the video. And go ahead and retype it, and you can put your colors back in the same way that you did in your email. Most management systems will use that same MS Office message or toolbar so that you actually can change your things pretty easily. So I'm going to come here and change my font for same to green because I had that green, so I want to keep it green. And I'm going to make all of this bold. So you can just go ahead and retype the parts that aren't correct. It won't be very many. Okay? And then you can fix your spacing. Again, it's not that labor intensive, so it's just something that you can do to make it look prettier. And that's my way. I like it to look prettier. I like it to look uniform. These will look like this, and it's not that bad. It looks pretty good. So again, the changes you have to make won't be that difficult. Just change your spacing here. Okay? And all the content will be the same because you copied it from that message. The same thing in terms of having to change the fonts will happen if you have copied the Zoom invitation, but again, don't panic. Just go back in and pretty it up. So come down here, and you can date restrict it if you want. In general, I don't because I send it that Friday after the most recent drop date before classes will begin. But to make sure that it's posted in your Blackboard as an announcement and sent as an email, you want to select Send a Copy of the Announcement Immediately. Every student who is populated in your Blackboard class will receive a copy of the email, and it will also be posted as an announcement.